Today's pro tip, brought to you by Floyd County Schools Department of Instructional Technology, is a two-part series to help you learn more about annotating a PDF. In part 1 of 2 of PDF Hacks, we talked about using the Cami extension to annotate your PDFs. Another option would be to take a PDF file, change it to an image file, and insert it in Google Slides.
I'm going to show you how to take a PDF and change it into an image so that you can make it interactive in Google Slides. The first thing you will want to do is download your PDF. It might be something from Teachers Pay Teachers or something that you had in your drive or on your desktop. But what you will want to do in Google Slides, you cannot insert a PDF, but you can insert an image. So what we need to do is change the PDF file into either a JPEG or a PNG file. So I'm going to show you both ways. The first way to do it is to use your snipping tool if you are on a desktop or a laptop. If you are on a Chromebook, you will use the Chromebook shortcut for a snapshot. Okay, to take a screenshot, you use Control Shift and the window button that's above the number 6 and then drag it to what you need. I'm on a desktop, so I'm going to actually be using the snipping tool today. What I need to do first, if I take a look at my PDF, I can't see the whole page right now. So I'm going to come over to this minus symbol and I'm going to click that a few times until I can get my PDF to where I can see the entire page. Okay, this is where you would use your screenshot tool if you had a Chromebook. In my case, I'm going to use the snipping tool. And I am going to take my crosshairs to the top left-hand corner. I'm going to click and drag so that I get the whole page. And when I let go, since I'm on a desktop and using Snipping Tool, I will need to go to File and Save As and name my file. If you are using the Snap Screenshot tool on your Chromebook, it's a little bit easier for you because it automatically saves it inside your Google Drive. Now, if I did not want to do that to make it an image, I could use a website like pdfcandy.com. What you can do here is you just come over and find PDF to JPEG, and then you would find your file. Okay, and then you would click on it. I'm going to use a different one for this example. Click open. Notice it says PDF, and then I would convert that PDF and it would change it to a JPEG. Remember, for it to go into slides, it needs to either be a PNG or a JPEG. That's where I could just download the file and put it into my files right here. You notice now it turns it into a JPEG file. So there's two different ways. Whichever way is easiest for you is totally fine. Remember, that website is pdfcandy.com, or you can always just use your snipping tool and the screenshot tool on a Chromebook. Either way is totally fine. So now that I have my author's purpose PDF converted into an image file, I'm going to come to Google Slides. Now, if you notice, Google Slides is horizontal right now, but my sheet is vertical. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to File, and then I'm going to scroll all the way down to Page Setup. Okay, right now it's set to widescreen 16:9, but if I use my drop-down menu, I can go to Custom. And right here under inches, I would use the standard size for a sheet of paper, so 8.5 by 11. When I click apply, it will flip my Google slide so it's vertical, just like a sheet of notebook paper. What I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to get rid of these text boxes. There's two ways to do that. I can click on the text box and hit backspace if I want to, or I can come over to slide and go to slide layout. And if I scroll down to the bottom, there's an option for a blank slide. All right, now what I need to do, I could insert my image into my slide, but if I do it that way, the student can move it around and accidentally delete it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to where it says background. When I click on background, I have an option for image. I'm going to choose image. Now, if I were on my Chromebook, I could look inside my Google Drive, because remember, when I take a screenshot, it will make it an image file and it automatically puts it in your Google Drive. I am on a PC, so my directions are a little bit different. I'm going to actually have to upload it. So I'm going to click on Browse, and then I'm going to find the file that I need. Here it is. If you notice, this one says Author's Purpose PDF, but this one is actually my image file. And if I hover over it, it tells me that it is a PNG. Remember, I want a PNG or a JPEG for my images. So I'm going to click on this one and choose Open. And what that does is it makes the background of my entire slide that image. That way the students can't click on it and accidentally delete it, because we all know that happens sometimes. All right, for me to work on it from here, I'm going to come over here to Zoom and just make it 100%, maybe a little bit smaller so that I can see it a little bit better. And this looks great, but right now the students can't type on it. So there's a couple of options that you can do. If it is a blank right here, like a fill in the blank, I can come over to text box and I can draw a little text box for the students. Now, sometimes that text box is hard for the students to find. If you notice, when I click away from it, you don't see it. So what I like to do for my students is I click on my text box and I come up to the fill bucket. See the little paint bucket that says fill color? I like to make my text box something really bright so that the students can find it very easily. So now my students can just double click and they can enter their answer. Okay, now if you want to go ahead and choose what kind of font and what size font you want for this text box, you can. If you just highlight the text box, you can go ahead and change it to whatever font you want to use. And if you need it to be maybe centered or something like that, you can come over to the three dots. It will say more. And then I can choose my alignment tool to make it centered so that it looks a little bit better. But that's just if you want to do that. Now, if I scroll down a little bit more, this looks like something that students might need to circle. Okay, so what I can do here is I can use my shape tools to create a circle that they can just drag right over. So right here, beside text box and image, there's a little square and a circle. When you hover over it, it says shape. These are your shape tools. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to go to shapes and I'm just going to choose a circle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my crosshairs and draw a circle that's big enough for them to put over the answer. And when I let go, if you notice, I can drag it over, but it hides the answer. So while my box is selected, I can come over here to my fill color, the paint bucket, and I can choose transparent. This is also where I can go right next to it to my border color. I can give my border color whatever color I want. And then next to it, I can choose border weight to make it a little bit thicker so that the students can see it better. Okay, if I need to resize it, I can. And now the student has a circle that they can click and drag wherever they need the answer. If I had a question where I maybe needed to use this circle more than once, okay, if my circle is selected, I can use the keyboard shortcut Control D. There we go. It will duplicate my circle so that I have more than one and they're the same size. Okay, then I can drag this little circle wherever I want to on my page and just leave it there for the students to click and drag for their answer. I'm going to scroll a bit further down and it looks like right here, they might have to type maybe a paragraph or a few sentences. So this is an example where I would use the text box tool. And just to make it a little bit easier for the kids, I would just make one big text box for them. And then don't forget that you might want to come over to fill color and make it really bright and colorful so that your students can find where they need to start typing. And don't forget, you can actually change the font and the size if you want to go ahead and do that for them. And now that I have my Google Slides set up so it can be interactive for students, I'm going to actually come over to Google Classroom. You will notice that I am in my Google Classroom now, and I'm ready to take that slide that was interactive and put it into an assignment for students. So my first step is to come over to classwork. I can create an assignment. In my case, I actually started working on an assignment and saved it as a draft. So I'm going to actually click on edit assignment for me, because I wanted to go ahead and put in the links that the students might need first. Okay, so I have my title, I have my directions, I have some background links that they may need. I've gone ahead over to topic and made sure that my assignment was in the topic for this week. I'm going to click on add from my drive, where I called that slide author's purpose. So I'm going to look for a slide called author's purpose. I can search for it in the search bar, but I love the recent tab because usually I've been working on that file, so I can usually find it a little bit more quickly if I click on recent. I'm going to select the file and choose add. And this is very important right here. If I have students can view file, they can only see it. That's going to defeat the purpose of the whole thing. If I go to students can edit file, they can make changes, but they would all be working on the same document. And we know how that would go. So I'm going to choose the third option, make a copy for each student. When the student receives this assignment, they will have a copy of this author's purpose slide, but the file name will also add their name. So they will know that's their copy to make changes on. And when you're grading, you'll be able to look at their copy as well. Okay, if I needed to schedule this assignment, I could schedule it to go out at a certain time. If I wanted to keep working on it, I could hit Save Draft. If I'm ready for this to go out to students, I would click on Assign, and now it will be available in their stream or on their classwork tab. If you have any questions about how to make your PDFs interactive, be sure to contact your ITS and they will be happy to help you out.